I want to thank both of our witnesses, our panelists, for their opening statements. We'll now move into the question and answer portion, and I'll recognize myself first for 5 minutes. We continue to be warned of the risk of a looming reliability crisis here in the United States. Earlier this year, during a Senate Energy and Natural Resources hearing, the head of the North American Electric Corporation, a Reliability Corporation, stated he agreed the United States is headed for a reliability crisis. During the same hearing, the CEO of PJM stated he agrees there is an increasing risk of reliability crisis. This summer, the FERC commissioners testified in front of this subcommittee where the same concern was raised. Commissioner Danley went so far as to say there will be, in time, a catastrophic reliability event. Dr. Ortiz, NERC's reliability risk report released in July of this year reflected these concerns. It specifically identified energy policy as one of the biggest threats to reliability. NERC has clearly stated there is a problem. Do you concur with their findings, and is FERC obligated to take action on this looming threat?
Thank you for the question, Chair Duncan. The Reliability Issues Steering Committee issues a periodic report, biannual report, that delineates key risks that the ERO, that NERC, then establishes a plan by which it will address. The Reliability Issues Steering Committee report issued included, as you noted, the risk of energy policy as a factor potentially affecting electric reliability. By energy policy, they meant that the changing resource mix could have impacts primarily on resource adequacy throughout the country. This is a matter of fact that has been established by several of the independent system operators that have also addressed this, that have also have expressed their concerns regarding resource adequacy as well. So I would agree that from the perspective of NERC's report, that energy policy, in so much as it affects resource adequacy, is a potential reliability concern.
The NERC report cites several factors contributing to this looming resource adequacy crisis. Price distortion in the wholesale markets caused by subsidies and unrealistic environmental regulations contribute premature retirement of reliable generation assets. My bill, the GRID Act, would require coordination between FERC and the federal agency that proposes regulation that would threaten grid reliability. Do you think that there are federal regulations that threaten grid reliability?
Based on your opening comment, Congressman, I presume you're talking about the Section 111D proposed rulemaking from the Environmental Protection Agency. Is that an example of the kind of rulemaking that you're concerned about? So for proposed rulemakings like that, it's for whenever there is a proposed rulemaking, the actual outcome is fundamentally uncertain. The EPA, in its own reliability impact or its own technical analysis, acknowledges that the rule is likely to result in increased retirements of resources, and then it also projects that certain replacement resources will also be made available. Each of those outcomes is uncertain. The degree to which that there are retirements of resources on its face raises a reliability concern that merits some consideration.
Let's shift gears here. The consequence of these policies and premature retirements are even more concerning considering the constraints on our natural gas supply due to lack of infrastructure. Lack of pipeline capacity significantly hurts states like South Carolina. Do you agree, Dr. Ortiz, that expanding interstate natural gas infrastructure is critical for reliability?
I will provide a brief answer, and then if it would please the chair, I'd be happy to take that question back, because the interactions between the gas system and the electric system are incredibly complex. The commission has hosted 2 New England gas electric forums. In New England, there is an acute interaction and dependence on the gas system. Obviously, there's a dependence on the gas system for electric reliability throughout the country, but New England is particularly acute. And what we have found is that the interactions between those systems are incredibly tight. And so increased gas capacity is something that is likely going to be needed for the additional gas capacity that is likely to come
Essence of
online.
time. In the essence
But
of time, I'll just stop you right there because I ask you to stay for the second panel. We're going to delve into events like the December 24th event that happened in South Carolina all the way through the Ohio River Valley. We'll talk about Texas. We'll talk about the need for dispatchable energy and where some of the shortfalls were with the generation mix you mentioned earlier. So I'll conclude saying that there's no substitute for reliable dispatchable generation. Hope we all can recognize that and work together. And